and she turns to me and tells me, Roy didn't die in the apartment. I mean, Roy didn't die on the way to the hospital. Roy died in the apartment. She says, I think that he committed suicide because his medicine for his cancer was all gone, and I think he just took it all to speed up his death. And then, to top it off, I had been sleeping in the bed that Roy died in. So, a light bulb goes off. I'm like, Mom, do you know what I've been going through for all these years? The nightmare that I've been living? He's been visiting me like every couple months for 35 years. I said, he had a message. He needed to get his truth out. So, I thought, okay, he had a message for me, one. Maybe he was earthbound because maybe he did commit suicide. Maybe he just didn't want to leave us and he wanted to protect me and my mom, especially from the thing that I was dealing with, from the near drowning. Long story short, I said, I had a revelation, and I said, I'm going to go to Roy's grave. I found his gravesite like a week later. I went there. I cleaned his marker. I fixed the vase that was stuck for 30-some years because my mom couldn't go over there because it was too much for her to ever go there. I took flowers, and I had a nice, long chat with Roy, or whoever or whatever is there. And I will have to say to you that since that day, Roy's ghost has not visited me again. It's been about 5 years. So I think that day he finally got closure, and so did I. We'll take a break.
It's fine that other people like you. It's more important that you like yourself. And I'm comfortable with every part of me. Meals on Wheels coming to my door as someone who's housebound assures me that I'm not forgotten. They care that I'm okay. My name is Asha Ida Bell. America, let's do lunch.
Drop off a hot meal and say hello. Volunteer by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
Welcome back. So, if you haven't been, shocked about the first two stories, I had another story for you. Early on in my 20s, I started having death dreams. I would dream that someone died, and about 2 weeks later, they'd be dead. This was immediate family members, other family members, friends, co-workers, acquaintances, and even a few celebrities. For a period of time, I even had a reoccurring death dream about myself. But obviously, I avoided my own fate because I'm here to tell you this, and tell you the stories. The deaths are always untimely. The people usually aren't old and sick. They die like a sudden tragedy, a surprise illness, freak accidents. Over the years, I've predicted about 20 untimely deaths. At first, the death dreams always involved just me observing the scenario. The dreams were vague, but I always knew who was going to die. I never knew how they were going to die, but I knew who was going to die. And over the years, when this happened many, many times, I realized it was always within a 2-week time frame. And over the years, I've gotten better at interpreting the dreams and kind of honing in on what they actually mean and making sense of what I was seeing. My first death dream occurred in my 20s. I worked at a dry cleaners in Fairfax. It was a family business. My mom and I worked there, and it was about a co-worker's husband. The husband was customer at the cleaners. So I go in and I tell my mom I had this dream and about this person, and she said, "Oh, don't you tell so-and-so. Don't tell her. It'll freak her out. And don't ever tell anyone you have dreams about them if they're going to die. And on top of that, do not ever tell me if you have a dream about me. I don't want to know." So 2 weeks later, the man dies. It was bowel obstruction. It was strange. His religious beliefs, he didn't believe in medical intervention, and they tried too late, and it was too late, and he passed away. Now, I thought, the first time it happened, I thought, okay, this was just a big coincidence, But when the second dream occurred, I knew there was something to this. The second one was a tragic car accident. I told my husband about it, and about 2 weeks later, the phone rings on a Saturday morning. My husband turned white. It's a ghost. And yes, I knew exactly what the call was about. This person had died in a tragic car accident. Over the years, my death dreams have taken different forms. At first, it was just me watching the dream, what's happening. Then, about 7 years ago, I started having what I call death walks. I had 2 dogs. One had died, and one had just died, and one is still alive at the time. Basically, I would take the dogs for walks, but in reality, they were taking me for a walk. And they'd take me down a familiar street in front of a familiar house, and I'd know who was there and who lived there. And to make a long story short, if they walked by and they stopped, it was kind of a warning that somebody was going to die. But when they went up to the door, I knew that person was going to die. And this actually is how I found out that my dad was going to die. Now, in recent years, in 2013, my mom did pass away. And my dreams took a different form. Now, the dogs are no longer leading me. My mom is appearing in my dreams. The last 2 death dreams I've had, my mom and I are arguing about funeral arrangements for somebody that is still alive. 2 weeks later or less, they were dead. So, in addition, over the years, I have an affinity for songs. Certain songs, I call them death songs now. If I have predicted about 4 celebrities' deaths, and this is how these occur, and I will hear a song that I know who the song belongs to. It will be in my head and nonstop for about 2 days. And these are always very quick. These are within about 2 days, the celebrity dies. Again, these celebrities die. Very strange, untimely deaths. And if you want to know who the celebrities are, you'll have to read my book, and I will tell you all about that. So, in addition, and lastly, we just got a couple minutes, I just wanted to tell you that I had a reoccurring dream about my own death for a couple years. And I'd see myself in a coffin almost every night. As soon as I closed my eyes, I didn't even have to be asleep. And it made me more adamant about my health care. So it seems that I had cancer. And the whole time that I was having the death dreams, I had cancer. So when I went through chemo, I lost all of my hair. And pre-chemo, I looked totally different than I do now. I wear my hair totally different for a reason. And the reason is, it's a different color, I parted on the side. I will never go back to the way I wore my hair pre-cancer, because that is what I looked like in the coffin prior to the cancer. And so I feel that if I don't look like that girl in the coffin, then the dream cannot become a reality. So I really do believe that you can intervene and change fate. I am now 13 years cancer-free, and I don't listen to my mom's advice anymore. I have warned the last few people, people that I see regularly. The last 2 death dreams were people that I don't see all the time. But I have had some death dreams recently about friends, and I warn them. I tell them, hey, be careful. Be careful driving. Don't do this. Just be extra cautious. I never tell them, hey, I had a death dream about you. You're going to die. You know, you don't want to freak somebody out. So, long story short, I continue. The last death dream was just a couple of months ago. And I need to go to the cemetery and visit this person that passed away. But I hope you enjoyed these stories. I hope they make you think. I hope they help you if you feel like you're alone. Thank you for watching the Evermore Paranormal Network. Until next time, peace out.
So in the end, what have I said is only that I'm sure. For all I know about this place is that I call it Evermore.